Hello, everybody. I'm Zongetsu134, the man without beard. And this is my partner, Colty Nelson. And this is Remember the Hyphen. And for the next month, we're bringing you some content. That's right. It's the summer, or it's the month in Hell's Kitchen. That's right, everybody.
It's Daredevil summer.
It's Daredevil
It's
summer.
Blind Boy summer.
It's Blind Boy summer. Anyways. So yeah, I've actually been wanting to do this since No Way Home came out, and the fact that my boy Charlie Cox showed up as Matt Murdock.
And this man about creamed himself all over the seats.
Yeah, and
he needed new pants after that scene.
No, I like everyone else was losing their minds over the fact we got Andrew. To be fair, I knew they were in it. Like
When I remember, we had thought it because there had been the leak with Charlie, and I had showed him, and I was like, he's like, and you were like, "Is this real?" I'm like, "It looks real." Yeah. Sony's DMCAing it, so I'm assuming it's real because they only do that with the shit that's real.
Because here's the thing, Toby and Andrew, I knew were in it.
We all but knew.
We all but knew.
You and I have been following leaks, going down every dark alley, looking for some information.
Well, that and once we saw like Alfred Molina Zoc was in it, I'm like, well, they can't not have Toby and Andrew in it because it would be stupid for just Hollins Parker to fight those villains. But anyway, point is, Charlie Cox is back as Matt Murdock, everyone's favorite man without fear, and he's not only showed up there, but the Netflix Daredevil show is back. I apologize for the sound, but we have to have the windows cranked open a little bit, or else we're going to die in here.
I mean, I'll be fine with that. I like dying.
But he's shown up in No Way Home. They put the Netflix show on Disney Plus. He's going to show up in the She-Hulk show, and supposedly we're getting another TV show or movie with Charlie. So I figured, what time better than now to do some Daredevil-related content, especially because I happen to be a big fan of Daredevil.
And I've always kind of liked Daredevil, but I've never really ever seen a lot of stuff he was in. So this is fun for me because I get some new stuff to look at. And
if you remember, in February we looked at Yellow. We've also got 2 stories that we're going to be talking about coming up as well.
Which you need to tell me which ones because I cannot. there's no way in fuck I'm getting the entire omnibus read.
Yeah, I can tell you that.
Yeah, you need to tell me the issues.
Yeah. Well, if you look, I can go by because they have the names in there. So it's
yeah.
But anyway, I'll
digress.
Anyway. So, we're going to be looking at, but before that, because, I know he can't just read those in like a couple of weeks, we're going to be looking at something a little rougher, although not really that bad. We're going to be talking about the Ben Affleck Daredevil movie.
And I have a couple copies of this here. So this is the VHS copy, theatrical cut. This is the DVD copy of the theatrical cut, which actually... It's actually 2 discs.
Oh, that's 2 discs? Does it have deleted scenes in it, or is that an audio commentary?
It has... I'll read you the back. So these are the special features. Disc 1, full-length director and producer commentary. Enhanced viewing mode takes you behind the scenes as you watch the film. On-screen trivia track, DVD-ROM content, comic book chronology, web links, and more. Disc 2 includes 2 all-new 60-minute documentaries, 6 production featurettes, multiple angle scene studies, Jennifer Gardner screen test, Kingpin featurette, 3 music videos, and much more.
Interesting. And then this is the
director's cut, which is only 1 disc.
Which, admittedly, as someone who loves this movie, watch the director's cut. It's honestly the best version of it.
He's more familiar with this. I actually watched the theatrical cut last night, and that was just because the last time I saw this movie was legitimately in 2003.
Yeah.
When I rented it. So it's been that long, so I was like, you know what? I'll sit down and rewatch the whole thing just so it's fresh.
Yeah.
Man, it's a little rougher than I remember it being. It's not bad. I've seen a hell of a lot worse, and we've reviewed a hell of a lot worse on the show, but it's not the best thing I've ever watched.
I have seen the director's cut. I sadly don't own the director's cut. I need to correct that at some point.
It's the only one you can get on Blu-ray now.
Yeah. The problem is I just never see it here. I need to just ask for it for buy it off Amazon or something. But
just buy it off Amazon. It's
yeah,
cheap as hell.
Now I know some of you are probably thinking, why aren't we reviewing the Netflix show? Bro, we gotta rewatch that, and that's 3 seasons.
Yeah, and there's I haven't seen anything past season 1.
Yeah. I mean, granted, that show is really good.
I mean, I've seen clips of the other stuff, but I've never sat down and watched. It's been a long ass time, man. Last time I watched that, I was in college.
I actually kind of plan on once Moon Knight's over, I'm gonna start watching it on there, just because I want to watch it. Like even if
so do I. I have it all. I have the first season on Blu-ray. I need to get the other 2 seasons finally.
And someday we will review that show, but it's probably kind of a far off sort of thing.
Operating on our limited time scheduling, we got to make sacrifices.
Yeah, but you know, I will defend this movie. Like you said, it has its flaws, but like I still think it's not that bad of a film. I think the problem with this film it came out after both Spider-Man 1 and 2 had come out.
No. Or 2003.
Oh, yeah, that's right. 2003.
Spider-Man 2 is 2004. So
I always think it's like a year, but like it was 2 years.
This came out a year after the first Raimi film. Because I remember telling you about this like before we filmed. That basically, that's like one of my chief things why I think this can considered to be kind of bad is that this came out post Spider-Man 1. And so anything that came out after that was immediately going to be compared to that.
Right.
Everything was. Like X-Men 2 was, The Punisher was, everything was.
Yeah. And
second of all, I can tell this had a lower budget.
Yeah.
Which I'll actually look this up right now. So pardon the lighting going away.
Yeah, I forgot to bring the big light for us in the back. But I think that also was a detriment too, because I think a lot of the humor and shit in this was put in so that it could like compete with.
Okay, so let's see your budget. The budget for this movie was $78 million.
Oh, the Spider-Man was way higher than that because like they had to have had a higher budget given how much that was in development hell.
Spider-Man 1's budget was $139 million.
Yeah, like almost double the budget.
Yeah.
But like, and to be fair, it probably had to be because Sony had to do a lot to get that film. And
yeah, and like, with this, it's like, who was this made by?
This is made by Fox, I want to say.
I don't think it was. Oh yeah, this still has the coupon book in it, and it's never been opened. So yeah, buy one get one free on your popcorn. It'd be kind of funny to look through that, honestly.
Remember the days when like you could get a DVD and it came with like these little
when it came with like one of these little booklets and like
yeah.
You don't ever see these anymore, so it's all digital and shit.
My favorite was the Dragon Ball Z.
Here's actually what it all lists on here too, by the way, all the bonus content. All new 60-minute documentary, Beyond Hell's Kitchen. All new 60-minute documentary, The Art of Daredevil. 6 production featurettes, LA for NY. So because they filmed this in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Combat choreography, costume design, smoke and fire, film work, seeing with sound. HBO making of documentary, multiple angle scene studies, Jennifer Gardner screen test, Shadow World comic book to film comparison, A Day with Tom Sullivan featurette, Kingpin featurette, 3 music videos, Won't Back Down by Fuel, For You by The Calling, and Bring Me to Life by Evanescence. Which is funny because when we watched the tape, the Bring Me to Life video is actually before the film on here. Which you and I both thought was weird. I'm like, why isn't that at the end of the tape like the Hero one was for Spider-Man?
No, it really was.
5 still galleries, storyboards, costumes, set design, production and props, character bios, theatrical trailers, and more. Yeah. I'm literally looking to see. Maybe I read 20th Century Fox.
Yeah, I thought it was Fox.
Yeah, it was 20th Century.
Which is frustrating to me because I'm like, I wish they would just put this movie on Disney Plus. Like I know the movie's not great, but like, you might as well have it up there anyways.
Yeah.
And if not, just put it somewhere else. But because Raw, this was free on YouTube, and it was the director's cut. I mean, it was free with ads, but you know.
So it's no better than watching it on TV.
Yeah, I remember when this came out. I knew who Daredevil was because of the him showing up in Spider-Man TAS. He showed up in that one 2-parter. But
I knew him because just like you said, he hangs out with Spider-Man a lot, and plus like he's in the PS1 game. That was really where I remember seeing him a lot. So I remember when this came out. Yeah. Like I was excited about it. We didn't go see this in a theater, but like I remember renting this from. I either rented it from Hollywood Video or it might have been Netflix when Netflix was still doing the mail-in stuff. Yeah. Because it was DVD when I rented it. It wasn't tape. It was DVD.
I actually think this was one of the first DVDs I rented from Hollywood Video. Because my grandmother, when I was about 10 or 11 years old, bought me my DVD player, which I still own. It's old as crap, and Sadly, the remote's batteries, or the battery corroded, but it works. But
You can clean that shit with the remote. You can.
it was.
You have to sand it.
Yeah.
Like you have to take a scratch pad and sand it.
Yeah.
I could clean that for you one of these days if you still.
But yeah, I remember renting this a lot because I liked it. I mean, granted, I was 13 when this came out, so probably it was like, oh, this is edgy and dark. Perfect.
Hell yeah, motherfucker. So edgy. So edgy.
I do remember when I watched it as a kid, I didn't appreciate it as much, and now that I'm more into Daredevil, I've come to really enjoy it. Like I don't think it's better than the Netflix show, but there was a lot of potential to it. So where do you want to start with this real quick?
Okay, I'm gonna bring up a couple of things that I observed with the movie, because I want to see your reaction to them. Also, here's the little card for the director's cut.
We'll do characters, but I kind of since you're coming into this a little fresher, I figured I'd.
Yeah, so a couple observations I had, and I didn't want to tell these about these beforehand because I want to see his live reaction to these.
Yeah.
Okay, first one. What's up with Daredevil just absolutely having no problem killing motherfuckers in this?
Yeah.
What is that?
I mean,
like when he kicks Quesada onto the train tracks, which, by the way, I love that it's Joe Quesada on trial. That's funny as hell to me.
Yeah.
Because I don't like Joe Quesada.
It was immensely hilarious.
That is hilarious. I like to think that's him on trial for one more day.
Yeah.
He's being tried by a panel of everybody who's an actual Spider-Man fan.
I mean, for me, like, it doesn't bother me as much because this is a much different Matt Murdock.
It was very weird to me. I was just like,
yeah.
Okay.
I mean, because he has killed a couple times in the comics.
That's what I know. I know he's killed and stuff, and like I know he's like outright crippled some people. But it's like, I don't know. That was just very like, okay. I guess we're just killing people. I guess.
I mean, for me, the fact that it was a little weird, just because like, and I know that's a sticking point for a lot of people.
Yeah, like it wasn't make or break for me, but it was it very much took me like. It took me off guard, I guess. Because mind you, it's been so long. I remembered like nothing about this movie at all.
Because for me, I don't mind it as much because I've actually read like the director wanted this to be like what an actual like they wanted to portray Daredevil as a more realistic vigilante. You know, because like in this he's riddled with wounds and bruises and broken bones. He has to constantly take like pain pills in order to keep moving because he just. Well, he is good. He just gets the shit beaten out of him just because, like, he's a normal dude.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't really mind him killing in this, just because it's supposed to be a bit more.
But you're seeing where I'm coming from. Where it was just kind of off-putting.
It was very off-putting. Like, as someone who prefers like the Charlie Cox Daredevil, who much more upholds the no-kill rule, I think it works a lot better. Although to be fair, like I said, I think it's unsettling, but it works when you kind of see the character arc with Daredevil in this.
Second observation. What's up with that weird fucking bath thing he's got? It's like a fucking coffin.
Oh, that's a.
I know it's soundproof, but when he first shows up, and I'm like, what the fuck is this?
It's not just soundproof. It's a sensory deprivation chamber. Which I actually appreciate that, because if you actually had his like super heightened senses like he had,
you would want one of those.
Yeah, that would be the only way you could sleep.
But like, they give you no explanation of that at all.
No.
Except, so I was just sitting. I'm like, what is he like a fucking vampire? What is this? What is this shit?
Yeah. Well, that's a problem with the theatrical cut, because
again, I only watched the theatrical cut.
Because in the director's cut, there's another reason why. Just as he's getting in the tank, he hears a woman being murdered with his super senses, and he knows he can't go because he's beaten and tired and he won't make it. And he hears that woman beg for her life and then die. And they actually show her like they superimpose her over the scene to make it seem like she died right in the room. That is how intense it was for him. So like that's sadly a product of the theatrical cut.
Okay. But third. This is gonna be a positive, so because I know this has been kind of negative for me poking stuff and shit. This got a fucking kick-ass soundtrack.
You're probably one of and to be fair, I don't mind.
I actually have the CD because like it's got it's got one of my favorite like harder Nickelback songs on it, "Learn the Hard Way," which is what he's fighting in the bar to.
Yeah.
So like that was good. The Evanescence songs are okay. I mean, they're kind of meme worthy.
Especially the one that plays during a funeral, which I'm like,
oh, My
my
Immortal. That's what that song's called.
Yeah,
it's on the album. It's on the soundtrack.
Like, are you all fucking for real right now?
Or like "Won't Back Down" by Fuel is on it. Or like "The Man Without Fear," which is what is that band? Drowning Pool with Rob Zombie.
Yeah, I think
Drowning Pool is like "Let the Bodies Hit the Floor." It's that band.
I think the only thing that's really bad in that movie is the fact that Hoobastank sings on it. Hooba Stunk. To be fair, I don't mind the soundtrack, but I know that's a sticking point for a lot of people because they're like, it's so mid 2000s.
I'm like, yeah, that's why it's fucking cool. I like mid 2000s stuff.
Like,
but I know not everybody does. You know, like, not how.
Yeah.
Kind of like how not everybody likes Nickelback.
Because people are like, oh, it dates this movie. I'm like, that's what dates
this movie?
That's what
dates this movie? There's a lot of other
shitty
or
CGI
the phones.
Yeah.
The phones, man. The phones and the computers are what get me.
I'm like, there's a lot of reasons why this movie is dated. And to be fair, as someone who loves the Spider-Man films, they themselves suffer from a little bit of dating. Like the fucking Macy Gray song in the first one. Which I know, I always bring that up. But no, like, as someone who's watched the movie, I think the soundtrack is fine because it's a hard rock soundtrack for a dude who beats on people at night. Like, I don't really see the problem with that.
Okay, fourth actually. Man, the CGI in this don't hold up at all.
No, especially
like the city ones where we're getting it opens up with that. I'm like, oh, I'm in for a rough one on this. The CG is it's like, say what you will about the CG in the Raimi films. I actually will argue it does look a little dated, but it still holds up really, really well. I argue this. And this is another case of where I feel like the budget really showed. Like, man, some of that CG just does not look good.
Yeah, well, and here's my other caveat to that. Daredevil is not superhuman. Like, a lot of the stunts he's doing here should be able to be done by a stunt person. Like, he's doing a lot of parkour and shit, so I'm like...
you could have done this with, like, some dude rigged up on a wire.
Yeah, like, for me, I think the worst is when he does that jump over that between the two buildings, and it's, like, a huge gap that, like...
Yeah, and I'm like, come on,
like,
man.
And to be fair, I could actually believe Matt could do that, because I've seen him do some pretty ridiculous acrobatic feats.
Yeah.
But, no,
You get what I'm saying? Like,
no, it's really
This was
bad.
really a case of where, the budget, excuse me, the difference of budget between this and Raimi 1 or even X-Men 1, I feel really, really shows here.
No, it really shows because there's some very obvious...
The other ones show that, like, CGI wasn't nearly as good as it is now, but, like, even back then, there was ways to make it look good. I mean, Raimi 1 and X-Men 1 proved you could make that look good. Or at least look a lot more passable than what it looks like in this.
I also think because they made the suit completely out of leather, I think it doesn't help that the texturing's off. Like, they clearly textured it like it was spandex, like how Spider-Man's suit is. And you can tell that he's not real even more because of that. It doesn't help that costume is bright fucking red.
Yeah. Okay, sixth. Man, I'm sorry. Jennifer Garner does fucking nothing in this fucking movie.
She's terrible as Elektra.
I mean, the fucking scene of her with the size, and Bring Me to Life's playing, that's memed to hell and back. We've joked about that routinely.
To be fair, I get why she was chosen because Alias was on at the time and she was really popular.
Well, that and listen, all the marketing, man, like she's on the fucking cover, like she's only in this outfit for what?
Like a
10
second.
fucking minutes. Yeah. So it's not, for me, it's just like, man, if you knew, if you're like me and you had seen this movie back in the day and you had forgotten everything about it, okay?
Mm-hmm.
You look at the cover and you're like, oh, Jennifer Garner's going to play a big role in this. And she does, but not like actual Elektra is.
Yeah,
in this.
Well, and it's especially weird because they have her in this, but you don't have the hand. So like her being a ninja and shit is really weird, and they have to like
So like it
they
felt,
have to write around that.
It felt almost very tacked on, in my opinion.
No, I like because here's the thing. This movie is taking place from the two stories I actually kind of have I have you to read.
One of them's Born Again.
Yeah, a lot of this is Born Again. The other is The Man Without Fear, 4-issue miniseries that basically was Miller doing his own version of Matt's origin. And there, Matt's known Elektra since college, and they were both trained by, Matt was trained by Stick, and then Elektra was trained by his partner Stone. Unfortunately, during that training, the hands start using their magic to hypnotize and drive her insane, so that she will become their champion. Because Frank Miller really fucking loves ninjas and samurai and shit. And also Elektra is fucking gorgeous. Like in that story, I don't even really like Frank's art in that, but she is like drawn really gorgeous in that. But they actually go into why she's able to do what she can do. In this, it's my father had me train with various sensei because he didn't want me to be a victim like other women. And then she gets murdered by Bullseye.
Yeah, which, like, listen, like, again, it's like they build up to her becoming like Elektra, you know, with the size and stuff.
Yeah.
And then she's only like that for like maybe like 10 minutes of the movie, and then she dies. It's like, for me, it's like there was all this build up to that. And again, if you went into this like knowing the marketing and stuff for it,
yeah,
you'd be pretty fucking disappointed with this.
Like,
honestly.
I don't even understand why they like clearly some like test audience had to say they hated the Elektra stuff, which is why I don't understand why it got a spin-off. Like, and I'm not
because
saying
Jennifer Garner hot.
I assume they wanted to keep her on because they were probably going to bring her back in a sequel, because she does get resurrected by the Hand. She gets resurrected by the Hand multiple times throughout her career. But like for me, like I wouldn't want to see most of it. And big real problem I actually have with Jennifer Garner as Elektra, I really hate they whitewash her.
Yeah,
because she's Greek.
That was a big thing for me. I was like, okay, come on, man. I don't buy it. She's Greek.
Yeah, like
I ain't buying that.
Like, say what you will about like her in the season 2 of Daredevil. Yeah, like at least A, she's actually Greek, and B, she actually looks like she could act. Like she actually looks like she's like out like to fight and stuff. My only complaint is I wish some show would actually give her the headband that she has. Like I get putting her in a different costume because her costume is fetishy as fuck because Frank Miller created her. But I at least wish they would give her the ninja headband thing, because that's like one of the things that makes her.
And okay, the last one. This is my last thing, and then we'll dive into some other stuff, because I'm sure you got some comments and stuff.
Yeah.
And I saved the best one for last because I know I can almost guess the reaction I'm gonna get.
Mm-hmm.
How many fucking people know he's fucking Daredevil in this? Because it's fucking outrageous. There's way too many people that know.
Cole, and I hate breaking it to you. In the comics, there's like an entire story arc where basically everybody knows.
No, I know.
Daredevil.
But listen. Think about this for a minute.
Yeah.
Over the course of the whole movie, there's way too many fucking people that know. And it gets to a point where I'm like, this is fucking ridiculous. Like,
because like I'm fine with
fucking Pat the priest knows. Elektra finds out about it. Kingpin finds out about it. Like, bruh.
I mean,
calm down with everybody. If everybody knows who he is, why the fuck's he even wearing the mask? That makes no fucking sense.
You know what makes me laugh the most? Is they have everybody who shouldn't know, but Foggy doesn't fucking know.
Yeah.
Like, I can forgive Ben because Ben's a fucking investigative journalist.
Yeah.
He should be able to
watching that, and then Ulrich finds out. I'm just like, why? Like,
again, that's pretty...
the Kingpin one, even I would be okay with. I was kind of okay with. Yeah, I was kind of okay with that.
Yeah, because the Kingpin does know.
Which I love that. I love that part at the end. Like, I'll tell everybody who you are. Oh yeah, go ahead. Tell him the blind guy beat you. It'll be like blood in the water. I'm like, that's actually fucking hilarious. I laughed at that.
It's my other favorite. I hate how badly they can't even make him actually seem blind in this. Like he does not hide the fact that he has super senses at all in this movie.
Oh my god, that thing with Elektra when they're at the playground. I'm like, what the fuck, man? Come on.
Yeah, I'm
what
like,
is this?
Like, you're telling me you can't.
Daredevil, I know. Look, Matt, my main man, my hombre. Yeah. I know you trying to get the pussy, but calm the fuck down. We all know you're cursed when it comes to that shit.
You know what's really annoying with that they have a priest. You know how that could have been easier if they just made it his mom, the nun. Like they just made it Sister Maggie. It would have actually been better. Heck, you don't even have to like say she's his mom. You can just imply it,
or
like they
infer,
implied.
Infer it. You know,
because they never actually flat out stated it.
Like I know in the comics, there's a lot of people that know who he is because of that whole storyline that went on. But like,
yeah.
But you're getting what I'm saying is that it's an annoyance almost because it's like,
yeah, because like
I don't. You know, it kind of defeats the purpose of a fucking superhero identity. Is that
he can't just swing over to the Sanctum Sanctorum and be like, Doc, I need your help.
I need everybody to forget who the fuck I am.
Because there's no Sorcerer Supreme in this universe. In fact, the Sorcerer Supreme is about 20 years over there.
Actually, no, because listen, I've always had canon that this movie, the two FF movies by Fox, Punisher and Ghost Rider, I've always theorized they take place in the same universe as the X-Men movies and the Spider-Man movie.
Yeah.
Mainly because the guy who plays Punisher, you can see him in the end of Spider-Man 2 when Mary Jane's running away. But anyway, and in that universe, we know for a damn fact Doctor Strange does exist. Because remember? That's pretty good.
Oh, yeah. But it's taken. Oh, yeah, that's it, yeah. But,
it's actually 70s Doctor Strange.
But, yeah, like, there's a lot of flaws with the movie, as much as I'm willing to defend it.
And I do love all the Easter eggs.
Yeah.
With all the writers and stuff. Like, you know, like the dad's fighting John Romita. I'm like, that was funny. I enjoyed that. Or, like, the one guy's named Kirby. I'm like, that was cool. I enjoyed that.
Yeah. And again, like a big problem with this movie is that again the studio interfered the shit out of it because again they were trying to compete with Spider-Man, so they cut a lot out. Like for me, like the fact that we only see one trial with Matt, and he fucking loses it despite knowing the guy is a liar, because he could hear his heartbeat, and the only way he can solve it is by murdering the dude with a train, because again. In the theatrical cut, or in the director's cut, we actually get another scene where we actually show that he actually can use his skills to be a great lawyer, because he rescues a dude who was wrongfully accused of theft, or actually of murder, who was a black man, played by Coolio, of all people. And he gets him off, because he knows he's telling the truth. He hears the dude say he didn't do it and sees his heartbeat, and he gets the guy out of prison. Like again, this movie really doesn't like because in my opinion that's the biggest problem, is they cut out all the stuff that makes Matt so interesting as a character. Would you agree that that's a big flaw with this movie? Is it like it really?
Sorry if it seemed like I was zoning out. I was looking at this little fine text over here.
Yeah.
A DVD-ROM drive on a PC with Windows 95 or higher is required to run the special features on this disc.
God, that makes me feel so fucking old.
And also, it's blurry as fuck, so I had to like actually look in there and look at it to read it. Sorry, that was that was amusing to me.
But like, yeah, I think the biggest problem with this film is it suffers from trying to make all the other characters more interesting, while also cutting out some stuff that actually gives reason for why people do the things they do.
They actually mentioned that on the back of the director's cut. 30 minutes of never before available scenes, including a devilish subplot in which Matt Murdock agrees to defend a not-so-innocent man, Coolio, framed for murder. Now the man without fear must follow a trail of crime and corruption that leads all the way to... Yeah, they just... They actually mentioned that directly.
Because I want to say, he's playing a famous criminal that Daredevil runs into a lot in his stories called Turk, who is like this kind of incompetent guy that like constantly shows up and stuff, and often is used by Kingpin as bait for Daredevil. But yeah, like I said, I think the problem with the theatrical cut is that it makes Matt out to be less heroic. Like that scene where someone is crying for help, and he decides instead of going to go help, he's going to go fuck Elektra in a really awkward PG-13.
Yeah, I was like, oh,
yeah,
oh god, man, this is awkward.
It's especially weird because like they constantly touch each other's scars and shit, and I'm like, how do you not know he's Daredevil yet, Elektra? Like, how does it take him almost dying for you to figure out that he's Daredevil? But yeah, otherwise, I still think this is really good. I think the action's really great.
Yeah, like the action.
Like, hell, that final fight with him and Kingpin is fucking amazing.
Yeah, the choreography in it's really, really good. You know,
yeah.
Like, again, like the cinematography is good in it. The scoring is really good. It's just the storyline is really where I think it falls flat. Like,
yeah,
I really agree with you. It doesn't measure up to Raimi, and that's the ultimate fucking problem.
Yeah,
it's gonna be the main complaint I'm gonna have throughout this whole video is that it doesn't compare to Raimi.
And I can't blame you for that because like that's the gold standard for these movies at this point.
Yeah, that's the benchmark.
Yeah, like it's very sad because like I said, I think that this movie had included a bit more stuff from the Daredevil mythos.
Well, I know that like Ben Affleck had talked about like he would have liked to have done another one of these, but if it was closer to the material and it was a lot darker.
Yeah. Which also, this movie also, against like a lot of movies we've talked about recently, suffers from like the Matrix-itis. Like that shit where they're fighting in the fucking playground is clearly a reference to the Matrix.
How about the scene with the club when it's going to hit Elektra's dad and it's in slow-mo, and I'm like, stop with the goddamn slow-mo. I forgot we're gonna stay on 3. We're all obsessed with bullet time at that point.
Yeah. So we've talked about the story and some of the. Let's just talk about the actors right now. We'll start with Affleck. What'd you think of his Daredevil?
Honestly, I thought he was really good in this.
Yeah, I agree.
I've always seen people kind of rag on this movie, and like I always kind of assumed that like that he was part of that, you know. But like, I honestly thought he turned in a really good performance. I mean, it was very evident, you know, that he wasn't very good at like hiding. His version of Matt wasn't good at hiding that he was blind, but it was like. I honestly didn't think he was bad in this. I thought he did great as Daredevil. You know, I thought he did really good as Matt.
Yeah.
You know, like he with the sunglasses. You know, he's got that persona. You know, it really comes out on the screen.
Yeah.
Like he's really good at it. Honestly, so like I don't understand why like, a lot of people bash him for this movie because like I thought he did really good.
No, I definitely think he plays both parts really well. He really sells the pathos of Matt. Like that scene when like that little kid sees him beating on that thug. Which I think is actually supposed to be his dad. I want to say in the director's cut they make it more clear that's his dad. Like when that little kid sees him and starts freaking out and begs for him not to kill him, and like in like that scene where like he's like telling the kid, I'm not the bad guy, and then he has to go up on the roof and he's talking to himself like I'm not the bad guy, and he's trying to tell himself that because he's trying to make himself feel better that you know he does a lot of really horrible things, but he does so because he's trying to you know bring justice. And I think that really shines through. I think it shines through better in the director's cut because again, we get much more context to why he's like that. Or you know, when he goes to the gym his dad worked out in, and he like, you can feel the feelings of anger and sorrow that come out of him. I think it works really, really well. And I think he's one of the better parts of this film. What'd you think of the costume?
Okay. First off, I know this has been a hot button topic recently because Charlie Cox talked about it and he said he thought the fucking costume sucked ass. It's very early 2000s-y.
Yeah.
For me, it's very much in line with how the X-Men costumes were in the original film. You know, it's leather, you know, it's all edgy, you know, it's so edgy, man. Like,
yeah.
But like, it's not the worst costume. At least it's a costume.
Yeah.
It's not like they just decked him up in some random ass shit. Like
I'm certainly happy he doesn't spend the entire movie in a fucking black leotard like how cause that's like one of my only complaints with the Cox Daredevil TV show is that he spends 2 seasons in the leotard. We get one season with him dressed in the actual fucking costume.
Yeah, it's like, and granted, like, again, even though it's leather, this costume doesn't look that bad.
Yeah, if I were to only say...
It's got the horns and everything. Like,
yeah.
To me, it looks good.
My only real issue with it is...
the Netflix show obviously does it fucking 1,000 times better.
I think his forehead's way too big on the cowl, so it looks like he's got a really big head when he's Daredevil.
Also, there's no way he's maintaining those that spike-tipped haircut underneath that, that mask.
No. Yeah, like especially if that's all leather, he is sweating like a motherfucker in that.
Yeah, he really is.
Like, especially in those hot New York summers, because man, it gets hot in New York City.
That's why he's taking that's why he's in that sound chamber every fucking night. He's trying to wash.
I can't remember if it, because I know a lot of the differences, but there's like a really great scene where we see him in the shower and he like spits out a tooth because he lost.
Oh yeah, I was like, damn.
And you see the blood coming off of him because he's just like, he's good, but he still takes hits and shit.
That's an awesome scene when he's in the bar, fucking fighting a Nickelback, learn the hard way, and I'm like, I love that scene, man. That scene was great.
As much as we talk about how he's not really good at hiding his senses, I do like that they actually really thought out how I like how they show it.
Yeah, like with with almost like it's like sonar and stuff. Like I really liked that. Like I thought that worked really well.
No, that effect is really.
I was really worried that was going to be hokey as hell. Yeah, but like I actually think that holds up.
Like, I actually like that when he wants to get a better look, he'll clang his billy club against stuff, and
I like the little details like that. I thought they did really, really well with that.
Honestly. And I also like that they actually show that it's not perfect. Like when the bats fly through when he's fighting Bullseye in the church.
When there's too much noise.
Yeah, when there's too much noise and he can't see shit.
I really liked that. Like I said, that was probably one of my favorite parts of the whole movie.
That or that scene where he uses the sprinkler system when he fight Kingpin after he gets hit so hard his radar senses are all out of whack. And then he makes the sprinkler system go off, and he can see him in the rain. And I was like, that looks so good. I think that effect still holds up really well.
Yeah, that holds up really well too. The rain effects throughout the movie, like that was a good use of CGI. I just wonder, did all the budget go to that?
Yeah.
For the CGI, I'm pretty sure that's where all the budget for that stuff went.
If there's any nitpick I have with Matt, I don't like the fact that they have the Kingpin be the one who kills his dad.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. Again, that goes back to that trope, like, with 89 Batman with the Joker killing Bruce Wayne's parents. I'm not a fan of that. We don't need the villain to be that interconnected with the hero. And I know a lot of films at that point loved doing that, and I'm just like, guys, it's not necessary, and to me it's very hokey.
It's like poetry, it rhymes, it repeats.
No, it's fucking terrible. Nobody likes that. That's why they don't do that shit anymore.
Yeah. Like, even when Lucas did that shit, I'm like, no, that's stupid and hokey. But no, because for the record, it's a lot of people think that the Kingpin is the one who kills his dad. It's actually a different mob boss called the Fixer, because he fixes fights. I do like that they had it that he's forced to become a mob enforcer, because that was again from like the Frank Miller origin for him, the Man Without Fear. But yeah, that's like the only complaint I have with that.
Let's talk about Jennifer Gardner.
Actually, real quick, I wanted to talk about because he's also happy in the MCU. What'd you think of Foggy in this?
It's so weird seeing him.
Like, that was why I was so mad in No Way Home. They didn't have like just a little tongue-in-cheek reference
if he had $1 for every time he's been in a room with a Matt Murdock, he'd have $2, which isn't a lot of money, but it's weird that it's happened twice.
But like, I would have loved if like we had a scene where Happy runs into Charlie's like, have we met before? No, I'm sorry. You remind me of someone, but you don't look like him, or some little tongue-in-cheek reference to the. Oh, that would have been so fun. But no, I don't mind him as Happy or as Foggy. I wish we had more with him, because again, the theatrical cut cuts like half of his scenes out, and it's frustrating because I think Foggy is one of the more important characters in the Daredevil mythos, because he's like Matt's Alfred, kind of, in a way. Even though he doesn't half the time know Matt is Daredevil. I don't know how the fuck you couldn't figure that out.
I love the scene where he puts the fucking mustard in the coffee.
Oh, and then Matt uses his ninja quick reflexes to switch them.
That was funny.
That was funny. Yeah, I guess before we do Jennifer Garner, let's do some of the other actors, because
Michael Clarke Duncan.
Oh my god, Michael Clarke Duncan is amazing as the Kingpin. Like he is.
I would like to think if he was still alive, wouldn't it have been cool if he had shown up in the Hawkeye show as that Kingpin?
If they had gotten him like, I mean, I love Vincent D'Onofrio as the Kingpin. He looks like the Kingpin and he acts like the Kingpin, but there's something about Michael Clark Duncan's Kingpin. He has like this charisma to him.
Do a multiverse movie, and we have Charlie Cox fight two different Kingpins at the same time. That'd be an insane fuck. That would have been an insane fucking fight.
Sadly, Michael Clark Duncan passed away actually shortly after this movie, and it's a shame because he was an amazing actor. And
I forget, what did he die of exactly? Well, he got sick, didn't he?
Yeah, I want to say it was like, I don't exactly remember the illness, but it was like, I want to say it was like heart illness, but it was really sad when he passed, and like, but like, yeah, he is amazing as the Kingpin. Like, he carries this like menace to him while also being like.
That scene when he's chuckling at that guy wanting to get bought out. I was like, this guy's fucking dead.
Which in the theatrical cut, he kills just two of his dudes for failing him. Like, he snaps their necks. Like, he literally just squeezes until their necks break. Like, they actually show like just how built this motherfucker is. But no, I think his charisma really works with Murdoch too. Like, you know, both when they meet each other before he finds out he's Daredevil and when he's Daredevil, like that, those scenes are really, really good. Like,
because we only defend people who are innocent.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, Duncan is great, and like I think he's almost on par with like Willem Dafoe's Green Goblin. Would you agree?
Yeah, in terms of just how much they control the scenes they're in. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Like, I even love that scene when like Bullseye throws that pencil through his olive as he doesn't even look like flinched or anything. Like, he's with this psychopath and he's not even afraid of him, even when he's showing off his skills. And he is, it's just really good.
Let's talk about Colin Farrell, I guess.
Yeah, I know a lot of people don't like this Bullseye because
I'm okay with him. Like, I like him. I'm sorry, and this is gonna sound terrible. The scene when he kills the old lady on the fucking
oh my
plane,
god, that
destroyed me.
That shit's actually low-key really.
That was low-key funny in a very dark way.
Yeah, like, I know a lot of people are like, oh, he's so crazy and weird, and I'm like,
I never miss.
Oh, well, you know, because to be fair, I know it. I think it's stupid too that he's got like a bullseye like etched into his forehead. Bullseye. I'm like, thank you. I get it. But otherwise, because like I know we're like, well, he doesn't wear the costume. I'm like, have you seen what Bullseye fucking wears in the comics?
Yeah. Like I said, his costume for this works, in my opinion. I thought Colin Farrell did a really good job with it, honestly. Like another one where like when he was in the scene, you know, he did really well. He had a very, honestly, I would probably say everybody except Gardner in this had a lot of screen presence with their characters.
Yeah. I hear you're the man without fear. Let's bring on the pain.
I was just like, damn, dude.
No,
dude went for it. He's like, okay.
No, I actually really.
How into this do you want me to get? Just go for it. All right then.
Cowabunga it is.
Yeah, basically.
No, I like, because I know people like
he was actually just beating on Ben Affleck, and they just kept filming the whole time.
I kind of think he's better than the Bullseye in the Netflix show, because the Netflix Bullseye is really depressed and kind of mopey and weird. But this Bullseye, like, he's the like, because Bullseye is like he gets off on like torturing people and like showing how badass he is by being able to like use his marksmanship skills to just bounce shit. Like, because like dude has like fighting abilities otherwise, but he always is willing to just use whatever means to just toss and kill people in this movie. Like, he kills a dude with a pencil, and like he kills that old lady with a peanut. Like, dude,
can I get you anything?
More peanuts,
please.
Yeah, like, dude is. Although I will admit, I think that this is like one of the few times I think the theatrical cut was right to cut. There's this scene where we see him going through like check-in at the airport, and he's like dancing and shit, and I'm like, you know,
cut that shit out of here.
Yeah, like, now do you think it was weird that they kind of gave this weird like thing where like he's kind of like sexually into Elektra, like to the point where like him killing her is kind of like a sex thing?
I was not into that at all. I was like, guys, get this the fuck out of here. Like,
and that's more extended in the director's cut too.
Listen, man, that was like some early 2000s shit where we can't have the good, strong female characters and shit. That was another example of this, sadly, with early 2000s superhero movies that I'm like, That didn't age well. I'm not a fucking fan of it at all.
Yeah, and
it's just fucking creepy.
And while he did,
not in a good way, it
yeah.
doesn't add anything to the scene. It's not like when Willem Dafoe is creepy as Goblin. It adds something. All right. This it's almost in there just for the sake of it, and it doesn't add anything to me.
And also in the director's cut, when Daredevil finally gets to the church with him, he actually says a scene line basically like that she got off when he impaled her with the sai, just to really sink the nail in.
Jesus
Which
Christ.
to be honest, I kind of wish they'd have just left that line in instead of the weird sex thing when he's like impaling her with it, because I think it would have still been fine, because that's just Farrell like egging Daredevil on to piss him off. But then that scene where the cops shoot through his hands and we get the Jesus out.
Yeah, I was like, God, no, not enough with the Jesus shit. Yes, I get Matt's a Catholic. This is no time for the Catholic guilt, Matt. Damn it.
Also,
with this.
Also in the director's cut, if I remember correctly, he survives falling through the window, and like he's in the full body cast like in the original Frank Miller run,
or like at the end of the Punisher game.
Yeah,
because remember Bullseye's in that.
Oh yeah, I forgot Bullseye's in that.
He's in the post credits. They tried to set up for a sequel that never got made.
Yeah, there's something that pisses me off about Punisher. I'm like, you act like you're so great killing people, and yet you fucking let Bullseye still be fucking running around. You telling me you couldn't fucking murder him, Frank? Although, I mean, granted, like, there's a lot of times where Daredevil stops him, but at the same time, like, there's a few times where I'm like, Matt, just let Frank kill Bullseye. You're not doing no one's doing any favors for that.
Yeah.
But, honestly, I really do love that fight in the church, though, where, like, Bullseye's, like, picking up the pipe or the organ pipes and, like, throwing the donation plates and stuff. Or even when he, like, smashes
with the glass.
Yeah, where he's throwing them like shuriken. Like, those were really, really well done. But no, like I said, I get why people don't like Colin Farrell, but like as someone who knows Bullseye, I think he's perfectly fine as Bullseye. I think he's better as the Penguin.
Yeah, definitely.
Whoa, take it easy there, sweetheart. But honestly, I think he's perfectly fine as
So let's
talk about
Jennifer Garner. And again, I'm gonna say this, and this is not a slight on Jennifer Garner as an actress, like at all. I just think she was very miscast for this movie. No. Like again, like there's the whitewashing that went on with Elektra's character, and just this is gonna sound really weird. Was I like one of the only people that thought she had no chemistry with Ben Affleck at all?
I think there's scenes where we can kind of get the chemistry with the two of them, but
there's like the weird PG-13 sex scene that just is very, very like off.
Which again was not originally there. They had to put that in for.
Yeah, but like you're getting what I'm saying. Like they don't mesh 100%. Like at least with Toby and Kirsten Dunst, like there was the chemistry there. They did date for a while, so there was chemistry there. This, like, I felt like there was just no chemistry between her and Ben Affleck. And then, like I said, they built her up to have this really big role in the movie through the marketing and stuff. And she just doesn't really do anything. And the worst part about it is, I honestly feel like there's a point in the movie where they focus more on her than they do on Ben Affleck's Matt Murdock.
Yeah, there's definitely.
Or like even on the Kingpin, they focus more on Elektra. And I'm like, guys, if you wanted to do an Elektra movie, you should have saved it for the Elektra movie that you guys did do that was really fucking bad.
No, I agree wholeheartedly. And I think part of the problem is they were trying to do, like, because I know one of the bigger complaints of all the Raimi films is Kirsten Dunst is a damsel in distress in those movies. So they're like, no, we're going to make her, like, really interesting. We're going to have it that she can fight and all that. And I'm like, except that at the end of the day, you still kill her.
And then they wheeled back on that idea with the Fox Fantastic Four movies by making Sue Storm the butt of every single fucking joke.
Oh my god,
movies.
Yeah.
Which I'm not gonna get back into that because that.
We've done an episode about that.
Y'all know that angers me.
Go watch the Fantastic Four movies and talk about it and see it there. But no, and it's so annoying because I hate the scene how they meet, where like Matt basically uses tricks that he would pick up a chick at the bar in. Like, could you pass me the sugar? It's right in front of you. Way right in front of me. What are you, blind? Well, actually,
Yeah, I was just that was kind of funny though.
It was funny.
That is
like,
kind of funny.
And then he follows her out of the cafe and like doesn't take no for a goddamn answer. And I'm like, Matt,
please stop.
Matt, you are a much better gentleman than this. Even if you did slap Black Widow on the ass. I mean, to be fair, she let him.
That was the 70s.
Well, then to be fair, she clearly let him do that because she wanted it.
Because we all know Natasha. If Natasha don't want you to touch her, Natasha will just break your fucking arm.
Oh yeah, no, like, no. Natasha was a freak, and Matt Murdock is also a freak because he's Catholic.
They're both
if there's one thing Catholics are good at, it's not following the whole "thou shalt not have sex before marriage" thing.
Forgive me, Father, I have sinned.
No, I also love that, like, Matt, his whole Catholic guilt is that he's killed people, and I'm like, that's what you feel guilt for, Matt?
It's not all the premarital sex you all have.
Which I'm Christian, even though I'm like, I don't judge, but at the same time.
But yeah, would you agree with me that she felt very miscast in this?
No, she's very miscast. Like, especially when she wields those, and I hate saying it like this, she wields those sides like a cheerleader would wield a pom-pom. Like, the way she moves with them, and like, and the fact that, like, the most damage she does with those size is cutting up sandbags to Evanescence Wake Me Up.
That's not true. She gets Matt in the shoulder.
She does get Matt in the shoulder. Like, damn. Then after that, she just gets her ass handed to her by Bullseye. And in fact, worse than in the comics, or at least in the comics, she puts up a fight. Like, I know people complain about how Elektra was created just so that she could be killed. But at least Frank gave her a dignified death.
Yeah, it's just, yeah, like they did the Elektra character no justice in this, in my opinion.
Which, again, like, I don't even understand why they wanted to do an Elektra movie after this, especially because I remember, even when this movie came out,
I think it was actually in the contract. For
no,
the
I
film.
don't doubt it.
I'm almost positive it was in the contract.
I don't doubt it. But no, it's really frustrating because, like you said, like, so much time is dedicated to her, and I'm like, guys, this is great. Can we get back to Daredevil, please?
Yeah, I'm watching a Daredevil movie.
This is what I paid to watch this for.
So, but okay.
What did you think about Ben Urich in this?
He was okay.
Yeah,
I appreciated the Kevin Smith cameo too.
No, that was as the
It's Kirby.
Yeah, well, he's a mortician, right? Or he's like a
Kirby. He's like a forensics guy.
Yeah. Anyway, what are you gonna?
Do you want to do ratings real quick? Because we're almost at an hour.
Yeah, why not? Why not? We might
Okay.
as well.
Out of 10, I'm probably gonna give this a 5. I was gonna consider it a 6, but the more I think about it, and again, this is based on just watching the theatrical. My rating for the director's cut might be a little different if I were to sit down and watch it and compare them. But for this, I'm definitely gonna say it's a 5. Not the worst thing I've ever watched. Certainly not the best. And there's a lot of stuff in here I feel that's very, very dated.
Yeah.
Some of it in a way I can ignore, some of it in a way that I think is pretty bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd like to say that, like, today I'm giving it a 5. I might give it a 6 on a different date, but like it's just average. The Netflix show is infinitely better.
Oh, absolutely. I actually will give it a 6, and great, I'm also rating it for the director's cut. I would probably say 6, almost a 6.5 out of 10. I think it is at least a little bit above average, but it does have a lot of
flaws.
A
minus.
Yeah,
it's an A minus.
Yeah, it is very flawed. I think a lot of it centers around the fact that, like, it focuses on the wrong things, as well as the fact that, like, it has really bad casting in Jennifer Garner as Elektra. I really think that's what really is, like, the albatross around its neck. And then the fact we only got one scene of Daredevil, like, making his logo in gasoline and then lighting it on fire. But, like, I still think it's perfectly serviceable. Like, if you decide to pop it in, I don't think you'll have that bad of a time. I think it's a problem with that, and the fact that a lot of people consider it a part of the early 2000s was bad category, which, like, is for a lot of movies from about 2000 to about 2000.
In my opinion, is always unfair.
2006, honestly. Probably.
I say a lot of that's unfair.
I
actually will argue that all of the early Marvel stuff from this period, except the Raimi trilogy and a little bit of the X-Men stuff, I will always argue that this stuff gets a bad rap.
Yeah.
I mean, like, even if I didn't like this as much as the Netflix show, I still had some fun watching it. I mean, it was an enjoyable movie, and I could turn my brain off and just watch it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, at the time, you got to realize, too, like, this was all we had. Like, you know, it was either this or nothing, you know? And everybody was really kind of stumbling in the dark trying to figure out, you know, like, what's the formula, you know?
Yeah.
What's this mystical formula Raimi somehow got right?
Yeah.
And wasn't sharing with anybody.
Like, you know, and to be fair with Raimi, it was just he
understood the material.
Yeah, he understood the material, which I feel like watching this, there was someone who understood the material in it. And he even did, like, because like I said, I love the fact that they try to make Matt more real, like, do Daredevil more realistically. But the problem is, like, I think
interference.
Yeah, like, because I will always argue it was the studio's fault this failed and not the director, because he clearly wanted to do the best he could at the time.
But his hands were tied. He was fighting with one hand behind his back.
And I will always say that was the biggest problem, because, like, when Sony let Raimi go, and this is what I will always say, like, well, yeah, Raimi is the reason those movies worked. It was also because Sony was like, you know what you're doing. You're a great director. You did the Evil Dead movies. You did Darkman. You're great. So, more or less do whatever you want, but make sure Macy Gray's in there. And like I said, I think they let him, because, like, I always will argue Raimi's one of those directors that he's great when you let him off the leash. You know, it's not like my problems with Tim Burton, where once you take him off the leash, he oftentimes kind of wanders off the reservation a little too much.
Yeah.
But no, I like I said, I will agree with you in that I think the problem with this movie is that, like, well, you more agree with me, is that the studio is the reason it failed.
Yeah. Which
says a lot, you know, seeing as some of the later X-Men films and the Fantastic Four movies. You can probably put a lot of that on Fox.
And the Elektra movie.
And the Elektra movie, which we've got to watch at some point. God, I'm gonna be honest. I have tried so hard to avoid that movie as best as I can. I'm really not looking forward to cracking the seal on my copy. Because you've told the story, right?
Listen, don't let me loan you my Blu-ray copy.
I was about to say,
I'll loan you mine, because mine's not open either.
I already feel bad.
Listen, I got, before anybody's like Colton spent money on that. Colton spent $3 on that with free ship, because it was on sale. Probably because Amazon had them, and we're like, we got to get rid of these. No. He's been sitting back here too long.
But anyway, that's more or less. I think we've talked pretty much about this movie.
Yeah.
You know, like I said, it's a flawed movie, but I still think
you can enjoy it,
and I still think it's worth talking about, just because, like, I do think that it's better than people say it is, because I know so many people have, like, just rail on this movie, and I think it's unfair a little bit. Like, I do have more in defense of Ben Affleck, because I've always felt like Ben Affleck's gotten the shaft whenever he's done superhero films. Like, this is one of the reasons why I was actually kind of excited for Affleck as Batman when originally those movies were coming out. It's just kind of a shame that the director doesn't understand Batman.
Yeah.
But anyway, guys, you know, that's enough about us talking about kind of a flawed movie. We got 2 more books coming up, and you'll probably like them. First, we'll be talking about Daredevil Born Again, and then we'll be talking about the Frank Miller's attempt at doing Daredevil's origin with The Man Without Fear. But until then, guys, that's not the light at the end of the tunnel. It's the end of Remember the Hyphen train.
I'm Average Joe Squad.
And I'm the Man Without Beard.
And as always,
we ask you,
remember the hyphen.
And take care in Hell's Kitchen.